Okay, you guys, we are live. I have a couple people here on the Zoom with me and a couple people on the live Facebook group. So I'm excited today to talk about all things compensation plan. This is something that gets me really excited. If you guys can give me a thumbs up or let me know if you can hear me, then we will get started. Let's see, we've got on here. Okay. So let me go ahead and open up my PowerPoint and share my screen with you guys. So today we're going to talk about the compensation plan. And this is something that in the beginning, my enroller enrolled a month before me, her enroller a month before her, and so there wasn't a ton of guidance, and I learned how to structure and build my business just strictly off learning the compensation plan. So I really feel like if you learn compensation, then you can learn placements, and so it's definitely something that I think that we should look into and not neglect. So the question then is, why is this so important? Why is it important that we understand compensation plan? Obviously, like I just said, for different structure purposes, but also just so you don't create frustration within your team. If you're building this as a business, there's going to be people depending on you to guide them. And so understanding compensation is really important. So today, what I want you to do is write down any questions that maybe you have about the compensation plan, and hopefully I'll cover it in my presentation. But if I haven't yet, then at the end I'll open it up for questions for those of you that are joining me live, and we can get all of those questions answered. But also, what I think this is such an important topic to discuss is because we have a broken financial system. Obviously, we know that our healthcare system is broken, and that's where doTerra plays a huge role, but our financial system is also broken. So I have a couple of statistics for you, and this is for the US mostly. I know that doTerra is an international company. We have some international friends that will be on here as well, but the problems that I think we face economically in the US are not really any different or any better in any other area. So in America, for example, Americans live their lives paycheck to paycheck. About 77% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. So they really don't have even $500 for an extra emergency that might happen with a car breaking down or something like that. So to me, that's a really, really big problem. We have $1.22 is the average that the amount spent by Americans for every dollar that they earn. You guys, you do not have to be really great at math to understand that that is not sustainable. You cannot spend more money than you're making. It's simple mathematics. It does not work. It will always catch up with you. And that's why so many people are having problems later in their lives. 62% of Americans actually retire with a yearly annual income of less than $10,000. And at the age of 50, 75% of the population has less than $5,000 in the bank for retirement. They haven't been able to adequately save up. At 65, 45% of Americans are depending on relatives to sustain them. 30% are depending on charities. 23% are still working because they cannot afford to quit, and only 2% are self-sustaining. So the supplemental commission that we make with doTerra, it really changes lives. And this is why I get so excited to talk to you guys about what can be done with our compensation plan. There's really just too many people that are living their jobs and having to fit their life around that. They're maybe getting to spend a little bit of time on the weekends or in the evenings with their families. And so doTerra has provided the income for my family, the full-time income, for the past 7 years. And it's not only does it help provide a really good, stable financial residual income, but it also helps create a paradigm where we can live our life focused on our family and the things that matter most, and we're able to fit our family around that. So it's kind of switched that around. Before, my husband had a business and he was really successful, but I remember our whole lives had to be based around his company and his business. So I think it's really fascinating to see the growth that has happened with our organization. Definitely, you know, we worked hard to help create and introduce doTerra to people, but that's, you know, that's in like the handfuls of people. Probably personally enrolled maybe 150 people, but we have about 240,000 people in our organization. And I love looking in the back office and seeing them from all different countries that doTerra has, because obviously, you know, doTerra is on the ground shipping to over 100 different countries. We also have global access to another 65 or so countries that we're operating in as global access. And so really, really an amazing opportunity that we can kind of shift what's going on. So one of the reasons why I think doTerra is such a phenomenal way to create a solid income for you is because you can count on the retention rate. Now, when I first started, I heard a lot about this 65% retention rate. I remember Corey Lindley joined doTerra as one of the owners, actually, when I was gold. And, well, it was the old version of gold, so today's silver is what it would have been. But I remember meeting with him, and we were at doTerra headquarters, and he was like, he's explaining to us, I cannot believe that there's a 65% retention rate. Back at my other company, which is another billion-dollar network marketing company that he had spent years at, he said that they would spend millions of dollars just time and time and time and stress trying to figure out how to increase the retention by even just 1% because of the difference that that would make for people with the amount of work that has to go in to retain a customer. So the national average for retention, just so you guys have something to compare it to, is anywhere between 8 and 5%, or sorry, 8 and 15%. It depends who you ask, but 65% is like a big difference, right? And so I remember Corey saying, I've been looking through everything to try to figure out how they're coming up with that 65% number, because anybody that knows a lot about statistics, you can kind of make the numbers look like what you want. Like, what are you calculating to come up with that 65%? And he said it just blew his mind that that doTerra is actually calculating it even more strictly than most people do in this type of business. So what that 65% refers to is from the time doTerra has opened for business, 65% of people that have opened accounts have ordered within the last 90 days. Okay, if you do it on an annual basis, like most companies do, it's actually about 80% instead. So what this means for you and I is that when we're introducing doTerra to people and they're purchasing from us, it's so much less work, because if for every 10 people that you enroll, 6.5 of them, I don't know how you get a half a person, but 6.5 of them are ordering regularly at least once a quarter. That's going to be a very solid income versus 1 or 1.5, right? So this is a huge deal. Now, one of the reasons why doTerra has such a high retention rate is because of the awesome loyalty rewards program, right? So this really gives people an incentive to order every month instead of placing huge orders once in a while, twice a year, maybe once a quarter. Not only does it offer them a really convenient way to earn product points and free product, but it also just keeps their oils more of like a lifestyle versus twice a year extravaganza. But it also really provides you with a really solid, consistent income instead of having your volume bouncing all over the place. So I covered the LRP program in depth a couple weeks ago with our part 1 of the compensation training, and that's geared more to the consumer. If you want to replay that, then I go into a lot of details about that. But that's something to realize when we're looking at our retention rate and how all of these bonuses are made so much easier for you because of the loyalty rewards program. So make sure that you're talking to people about the value in that. So if you still have questions, talk to your sponsor and get clarification, because it's really hard to understand how to build properly if you don't understand how you get paid. So I've seen many people neglect the compensation plan. They kind of feel like, I just love oils and I love people, so I'm going to go ahead and just share them. And sooner or later, they get frustrated that they're not earning what they could be if they were structured properly. But even more importantly, there's people on their team that start to get frustrated. So today we're going to talk about the 5 ways that doTerra compensates you financially. And I'm not going to use a bunch of pretty slides. I'm going to apologize right now for any of you graphic designers out there or any of you PowerPoint experts going, oh my gosh, she's using too many words on the screen. I'm actually just going to use these images from the doTerra.com site where you can pull up the compensation PDF, because I want you to have something that you can reference whenever you have questions. So it's how I learned almost everything I know about the compensation plan. So after today, or even right now, if you want to print that out and follow along, this is going to give you most everything you need to know about how the compensation plan works. So those are the images that I'm going to go off of. So first, we're going to talk about retail sales. For this commission, there's actually no requirement to qualify other than that you're a wellness advocate. You do not have to place any qualifying orders for this, and you can earn retail on your replicated site through doTerra, which charges 25% above wholesale. Or if you have a retail storefront, then you can also sell retail there as long as you're selling above the wholesale price, right? I work with some different spas or salons, and they charge up to 100% above wholesale. So you know, it just really kind of depends on your market and where you're at. But if someone's going into a place like a really high-end 5-star spa, they're expecting to pay retail prices. So it might work in one of those types of situations. Or maybe you have it as an option for people that don't want to enroll but want to just purchase a couple oils here or there. I'll usually sell people the first time at wholesale price, and then after that offer them the option of retail. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, I really haven't made any commissions through the retail process because I feel like it's a lot more of hauling buckets than it is of creating a pipeline. And when somebody purchases retail, I don't think it's too difficult for them to learn that they could have gotten a better price for that. So if you're upfront about that, then that's great. But if you just are selling retail, it won't take too long until they realize, oh, I could get this at wholesale, and they may open an account with somebody else that it offers that option and explains the benefits of it to them. So that's something to think about. Also, there's no PV, like I said, required to earn retail. And that retail PV is combined with your personal volume for that month. So in a few cases, when someone is a qualifying leg and they haven't placed 100 PV in order to qualify, then you can actually place a retail order underneath them, and that will qualify them as a qualifying leg and for Unilevel purposes. It won't affect fast starts or power of 3, but that's something that you could consider where it may be appropriate to place a retail order underneath somebody to make them a qualifying leg for you. The second that I want to talk about, I'm sorry, this is supposed to say 2, typo there. But the second thing I want to talk about is the Fast Start bonus. And this is paid weekly, so it's very fast that you see the results. And 100 PV loyalty rewards order is required to earn this commission. And this is paid out in all orders for the first 60 days of someone's enrollment. After that first 60 days, then it goes into Unilevel. So just to clarify, this is the person's volume that's being paid on. It's not your first 60 days. So I've been doing this for almost 9 years, and I receive a Fast Start commission every week. So it doesn't have to be within your first 60 days. It's just every order gets paid on, or every person, every enrollment gets paid on Fast Starts for the first 60 days, and then whatever they order past that will get paid in Unilevel commission. Now, usually this is the first commission that anybody receives, and what's cool about this bonus is, like I said, it's paid weekly, so someone could technically enroll at the beginning of the month, maybe host a couple classes during the middle of the month, and by the end of the month, they could earn enough to cover their enrollment cost, right? Now, it doesn't always happen that way, but it is a possibility. For example, I enrolled the week of Christmas, and then I had 2 classes, a Friday night and a Saturday class. The second weekend in January, I enrolled 12 people, and a couple of them had larger kits. So then the following week, I received a commission that made enough to cover a Natural Solutions kit, which was not what I bought. I got a lot larger kit than that, but would cover a Natural Solutions kit as well as 1 month of loyalty rewards orders. So obviously, like I said, that's not always typical, but I want to paint a picture of how fast this Fast Start can really work to help people get their products for free. So that's something to consider when you're helping people get started so that they're not paying out of pocket month after month. I think the very best way to get people on loyalty rewards is have them earning fast starts. So how this will work is, here's an example of it. It's paid through the enrollment tree, by the way, not the sponsor tree. So let's say that Andrew enrolled somebody with 1,000 PV enrollment kit. He would receive 20% or $200. Let's say that Betty enrolled Andrew. She would receive 10% or $100. And let's say that Cynthia enrolled Betty. She would receive 5% or $50. So that's simple ABC, goes in that order. But let's say that Cynthia enrolled somebody else and placed her underneath Betty. Then that person would not get paid on Andrew's on that fast start because she did not have Andrew's enrollment. She might be Andrew's sponsor, but if she doesn't have the enrollment, then she's not paid in the fast start. So it's just 3 levels of the enrollment tree. So the requirements to get paid on this bonus is 100 PV loyalty rewards order. So since it's paid weekly, usually it's between Tuesday and Thursday for the previous week, which would be Monday to Sunday. So it's paid, Tuesday through Thursday sometime. You want to make sure that your template is always above 100 PV. Okay, I understand, like sometimes you might think, well, I've already placed my LRP order. I don't know what I'm going to place next month. Let me take a couple things out. Or if you're placing any of the limited time offer orders, then you need to make sure that you go and change your template, because if the following week commissions go to run and you don't have a template that qualifies you, you will not get paid regardless of whether or not you placed an order that month. So for example, this month I placed a couple items. I ordered a couple items on my loyalty rewards that were limited time offer products. So as soon as those are not available, they can't get saved into your loyalty rewards cart, right? So after my order, my cart, even though I ordered I think I ordered like almost 200 PV. Actually, I did. It was over 200, but my actual loyalty rewards template showed 5 PV. So as soon as it was processed, I went back in and I put an Aroma Touch kit on there just because it's an easy 100 PV to hold my cart above 100. And I'll go back and adjust it next month before my loyalty rewards and make sure that I've got what I need for next month. But you want to make sure that your template is always reflecting over 100 so that you never miss any of these weekly bonuses. This is also something really important to watch as you're helping new people. When they've just enrolled, they can't place a loyalty rewards order the same month that they enrolled, but maybe they're having classes that month. So they need to make sure that they have a template set, even if it's for the following month, when it's the first month that they can actually place their loyalty rewards, they need that template set. Also, if you are one of those sneaky people that are thinking, well, if it's paid weekly, I'll set my template and then I'll earn my commission and then I'll cancel my template. doTerra will claw those commissions back. So you'll have to pay those back. So just know that that doesn't work if you're trying to think of that. So let's go on to the third way that we get paid, and this is the power of 3. This is paid monthly, and the requirement to qualify for this is at least 100 PV in LRP order as well. So this is the highest payout per volume possible that doTerra has in the compensation plan. It also acts as a really great guide on how to structure your team for long-term success. So what this looks like is if between you and your sponsor tree, this is just sponsoring. Enrollments don't matter at all as far as the power of 3. So if between you and your front line, you have at least 4 qualifying loyalty rewards orders. So yours plus 3 people on your front line need to have at least 100 PV loyalty rewards order, okay? And then between you and your front line, you reach a total in volume of 600 in volume, then this qualifies you for that $50 bonus. So that 600 in volume, just so you know, can come from any type of orders. It can be enrollment orders, retail orders, loyalty rewards orders, standard orders. It can be any type of order, and it can come from anybody. It doesn't necessarily need to come from your 3 qualifying LRP order people. If let's say you have a 4th leg there, that's a wholesale customer that's ordering 50 PV, that volume would still count towards that 600 in volume. So just to clarify there. So also just another thing too, doTerra requires 100 PV to qualify for this. and as you guys have probably heard, we recommend 150 PV for loyalty rewards order because it maximizes the potential of this bonus. Because if I were to say, okay, I could build 5 legs and you only need to order underneath me 100 PV, but I'm going to be spread thin helping 5 people so that I can get my $50 power of 3. And then you're going to have to build 5 people wide to get your $50 power of 3. Or I could focus just on 2 and I can place that 4th leg underneath you instead, and then you just really need to work with 2 other legs to get your power of 3. Like, wouldn't you prefer that we're working at maximum capacity? So that's why we say 150 PV, and it's part of the agreement that I make with anybody that's in any of my business builder positions, is that they need to place 150 PV every month. Sometimes I'll say this is the standard, and the first month or 2 we'll let you just do 100 while you're getting going, because I want doTerra to be a financial blessing for people, not a financial stress. And that's why we really want to help them get their power of 3 as quickly as possible. So maybe the first month or 2, they just place 100, but then after that, my standard is 150. And it works better for everybody involved, including them, because then they get more focus on them versus being spread out by 5 legs, right? Now, I know some people are thinking, okay, $50, this is not going to change anybody's life, but I want you to understand it as far as the residual value. We learn a lot about residual income. It's something that we're kind of taught, that we work for 40 years and we save up and we build up a nest egg so that we can live off of that for our retirement. So most retirement accounts are about 5% is what they're earning. So in order to earn a residual income of $50 a month, you would need to have a retirement account with $1,200 earning 5% to create $12,000. $12,000 earning 5% in order for you to earn that same $50 commission every month. So if it took you about 3 months to create a $50 power of 3, it would be the equivalent as putting away $4,000 into a retirement account for 3 months in a row. So super achievable just to get your $50 power of 3 and have the same result as if you were to put away $12,000, right? Within a 3-month period. So that's something that I want you to look at. A lot of times I hear people a couple months in saying, okay, I'm adding up the math and like I'm getting paid $3 an hour for the amount of work that I'm doing. And I almost want to shake them and say, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. You're already making money in your business, because most businesses are considered successful if they break even after 3 years. And then also you really need to understand that a residual income is very, very different than one-time income because it continues to pay you. Now, obviously, you have to build to a point where it is residual. In some cases, if you just have your $50 power of 3 and then you check out and expect to get that forever, people might drop their orders. So that's something to think about. But at this point, I mean, whether I work or not, I'll still have a very phenomenal income that will continue for the rest of my life because of the organization that we've built and so many other people that are duplicating as well. So that's something that I want you to consider. Now, if we look at the next level, if you help your frontline do the same thing and they all get 3 people to place their loyalty rewards, they're all getting their $50 power of 3, right? Then that would be a $250 bonus for you. At this point, people's monthly orders are more than covered for. So this is kind of like past the break-even point where even somebody that's just slightly sharing, this is a phenomenal thing to help them do, because then they're never going to stop ordering. They're always going to have the access to these oils and very affordable, and even actually a little bit of extra spending money that they have on the side. So this is something that I want you to look at. This is also another reason why we talk about the 150, because if you're building 5 by 5 by 5, it is going to take so many more people to create this bonus, right? Now, just to give you the residual value of this, is it would be like having $60,000 in a retirement account. So if it took you 6 months to build your 250 power of 3, then that would be equivalent to putting $10,000 a month into a retirement account for 6 months. So just so you know, I got this bonus by my 3rd month, and it's totally doable if it's something that you're focusing on and you're working on proactively. I think it's so much easier to do than putting away $10,000 a month into a retirement account. So this is so achievable. Even if it took you a year, that would still be easier to do than putting $5,000 a month. Well, that would be 10 months of that. But it just makes a lot more sense that this should be something that you're looking at. And I know some people that they just work their guts out trying to reach that next rank. And if they only realize that if they paid a little bit more attention to the power of 3, they would make so much more money, faster. Now, this is not going to be equivalent to some of those higher ranks like diamond and above, but it is, if you're looking at the lower ranks, then this is going to be the best use of your time to focus on. And again, this goes one more level. Oh, sorry. So this goes one more, that's your 250 power of 3. Then it goes one more level to your 1500 power of 3. So on that 1500, you can see it's just duplicating that 3rd level. And this is at the point where, you guys, this is a mortgage payment in some places. I mean, not if you live in New York or some places in California, but you could get like a 1-bedroom studio maybe there. But this is a pretty decent income, and it's completely, at this point, you've solidified your structure for platinum, because platinum is just 3 silvers. Silver is just 3 legs of elite. So it really helps you structure for your rank as well. So this is an awesome thing for you to look at. Even the first 6 months that I started getting my 1500 power of 3, I was spending about $600 a month in incentives for strategic placing of orders and incentivizing people in those places while we were finding some, other people to fill the gaps. And to me, that made sense. It makes sense to me to spend $600 to earn an extra $1,250. It just is simple math. So it's something for you to look at. I think that wherever you are in your power of 3 bonus, map out how far you are from your next bonus and what it would take. If you're earning 50 right now, and by placing 1 extra order of 100 PV, not only will you get the products, but you'll also get the extra $200 bonus. That would make sense to do. It also helps you see like, okay, well, I've got 2 spots that I need to get people put into to fill that out. And you can utilize wholesale customers. Obviously, they're not going to duplicate, and we really want to look at people that are duplicating, because if you fill your front line just with people that are consumers or, they're great at ordering oils, that will get you your $50 PV or power of 3, but it's not going to get you your 1500. So you want to really work with people and build underneath people that are duplicating. I would rather that it took me 6 months longer to get my $50 power of 3 if it helped me get my 1500 6 months sooner, wouldn't you? So you really want to look at that duplication process and map out, okay, well, I've got a couple gaps here. I'll put a wholesale customer to fill in that gap. And then, maybe once you get that filled out, you might have that wholesale customer upgrade so that you get a second move after 90 days. You get a second move, and then you can have them kind of fill out your 1500 or your volume in other places that you need. So that's just something to consider. But I definitely want everybody to look at where they're at, maybe meet with your upline and see what your gaps are and where you might need to look at strategically filling in the gaps with more people, strategically incentivizing people to place higher LRP orders, maybe giving them some free product. I remember at one point, I had a couple people that I said, okay, if you place an LRP order this month of whatever, 100 and whatever it was that we needed, then I will place the same order for you next month. And so you'll get that free. So for them, it was basically a BOGO. They bought one and got one free. For me, it was a way that I could spend $150, but I would get my power of 3, 1500, 2 months in a row. And you can earn this over and over. So as a presidential diamond, obviously I have 6 qualifying legs. And so I actually get my 1500 twice plus half of, another 50 power of 3. So that's something for you to look at in the future. So let's look at the next way that we get paid. The 4th way is Unilevel. This is my favorite commission. It takes a little bit longer to create, but it is the most sturdy commission in doTerra. And if you look at any of the top leaders, this is going to be the largest portion of their commission. So this will make up the majority of what they're getting paid on. It outpays everything else, but it does take a little bit longer to create because it's like a snowball effect. And my team just started with me, right? And then that first month there was 12 people, and then, you know, a couple more and a couple more and a couple more, to where now we're hundreds of thousands. But your team's very similar. When you're getting paid anywhere from 2 to 7% on maybe 20 or 50 people, it might not seem like a lot, but when that 50 doubles to 100 and that 100 doubles to 200, and pretty soon you have 1,000 doubling to 2,000 and 20,000 doubling to 40,000, it just starts to really build this Unilevel commission. So I absolutely love this. This commission is paid monthly on all of the volume that's past 60 days, because remember the first 60 days is paid to Fast Starts, and then after that it goes into Unilevel. The requirement for this to get paid on your first level, that 2%, is 50 PV, as you can see on the chart. After that, it's 100 PV. And this can be any type of order. But why place a standard order when you can get the benefits of loyalty rewards order and loyalty rewards points and the other commissions available? But it will, any order can qualify as Unilevel as long as you have 100 PV in there. Also, certain ranks are required in order to qualify for different levels. So as you can see in this graph, you know, at different ranks you're qualifying for different levels. So not until silver do you qualify for all 7. And this is doTerra's amazing way to ensure that the compensation is going to the people that are actually doing the work. So if there's a commission that someone doesn't qualify for, then it's going to be paid to the next qualified person through dynamic compression. So I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on dynamic compression, other than all you need to know is every single order is paid out 34%. So, and that's paid in Unilevel. So the company's not going to keep any dynamic or any breakage, right? It's going to work into the dynamic compression. So if someone isn't ordering underneath you, just know that they're not taking up a level of your pay, because it's going to compress. Also, if an order is under 50 PV, then that's going to compress with the order above it. So it's also not taking up a level of pay. Because I know that's really frustrating when you're like, oh my gosh, they ordered 25 PV and that's taking up my 5% level. So that doesn't really happen. So for example, if you're elite and you get paid 5 levels and you have someone order 100 PV on your 3rd level, and then your 4th level doesn't order at all, and then your 5th level orders 25 PV, that 25 PV is going to bump up to the next order that is qualifying, so that would be your 3rd level. So you're actually going to get paid 125 PV as your 3rd level, because you've got that 3rd level 100 and that 5th level 25% that bumped up because 4th level didn't order. So you're getting paid on your 5th level with your 3rd level as 5%, right? Then your 6th and 7th level, which normally you wouldn't qualify to get paid for, but because those other levels were compressed, then you'd get paid on your 6th and 7th level volume as if they were your 4th and 5th, assuming that there's orders on that order, on those levels. Sometimes as a new elite, you might not quite have that filled out, but that's how dynamic compression works, and it's super amazing. And I just wanted you guys not to stress if like people are wasting your levels, because it doesn't work that way. And I absolutely love that about doTerra. So to give you an idea of what it actually looks like, because these are, you know, this is basically a breakdown of if you have 3 people on your front line and they have 3 people and it's built 3 by 3, all the way down to your 7th level, and everybody's ordering 150 PV, which by the way, doesn't happen. Like, this is just a scenario. You're gonna have some people that order more than 150, you're gonna have some people that order a lot less, you're gonna have some levels that have 7 people instead of, you know, 3 by 3. So this just gives you an idea of what that looks like. So with that, for 7 levels, you would have $22,963.50, which is a phenomenal residual income just on Unilevel. Now, if you add the power of 3 bonus in there as well, then that makes it a lot more with $34,071. So something to make, that doesn't actually make sense. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, that's a total of $34,000. So just your 7th level of pay, you can see there is a big amount with that $22,000. And this is why if you're sitting at Premier, you might want to look at the volume that's on your 7th level that you're missing out on. Or if you're sitting at elite and you're only paid to your 5th level, check out your 6th level and your 7th level and see what volume you might be missing out on. So that's something that you can calculate here. So altogether, with your $1,500, $34,000 a month is not a shabby commission with doTerra, and you could earn all 7 levels at the rank of silver. So some people will look at the Unilevel commission and they'll say, oh my gosh, I saw this other company and they pay a lot higher on their 1st level. They might pay 10% on the 1st level instead of 2%. And then they go down from there. Some might pay, they'll flip it around. In fact, most companies do that. They pay the higher percentage on the top levels and then the lower percentage on the bottom levels. So again, simple math. How many people are generally on your top level? How many people are generally on your lower levels, right? Would you rather get paid more, a higher percentage on less people or on more people? Really simple. So let's look at what that would look like the other way around. If doTerra flipped this around, then there would be a huge difference, almost $20,000 difference on the same exact volume and the same exact structure underneath you. So this is definitely not something that we want to happen, but this is what a lot of other companies do. So they might seem like they're making money faster in the beginning, but it's really not the case. They're just making higher percentage at the top and then going to, their commission is capped at. So why would other companies do this, do you think? Like, what is the difference for them? A lot of times people think that they do it this way because it saves them money, but really it doesn't. The same amount is still being paid out. It's 34%, whichever way you calculate it, whether it's backwards or forwards. So it's the same exact expense for the company. But the reason why many companies can't do this is because they don't have the retention that doTerra has. People will not stick around long enough to get to those higher ranks if they don't make enough money in the beginning. And so we have this huge, amazing benefit because of our retention. doTerra is able to pay us the lower percentage in the beginning and then the higher percentage so that it creates such a bigger opportunity for us and a lot more potential than it would normally. So this is the difference just in Unilevel. But then if you add in the power of 3 on top of that, then you're actually even earning more from the beginning if you've got the power of 3 as well. So you're getting paid more on more. It's just really a win-win every way that we look at it. So let's see. The next thing that I want to talk about is the 5th way. The last way that we're going to talk about is bonus pools. And you guys, this is an amazing part of being in doTerra. It's kind of like owning stock in the company because you're getting paid a percentage on the global volume worldwide of doTerra depending on your rank. So how that works is, as you can see here, it starts at Premier. So there's the empowerment pool where 1% of the global volume is split between the Premiers and the Silvers, right? And so that generally is like $190, maybe $200. It's kind of leveling out around that. And that's just an extra bonus that you're paid on top of your other commissions. Now at Silver, you also get to participate in the leadership performance pool. And so 2% of the global commission, the global volume, is put into a pool where the silvers, golds, and platinums share that. Now this generally is around $150. So the silver would get the empowerment pool, but he also would get another $150 for the silver bonus. Now the golds get the same $150 share, and it's ish, right? It's $150-ish. I just want you to know it depends on how much the volume is that much divided by how many people are in the pool. So gold gets the same 150-ish share, except for they get 5 shares of it. So that would be about $750 if the share was $150 that month. And then the same thing with platinums, except for they get $1,500 for it. So, with that same share. So if it's 150 times 10, that's $1,500 bonus. So again, let me ask you, do you think it's easier to build to platinum or to get your $1,500 power 3? Something to look at there. With your $1,500 bonus, you really can do that with as little as 40 people and as little as 6,000 in volume. To create the same amount of $1,500 bonus, you would need to be platinum to get that platinum bonus. Or if you're looking at just Unilevel commission, then it would take 30,000 in volume, getting paid at 5%. Your Unilevel gets paid 2%, 3%, 5%, 5%, 6, and 7. So we took an average of about 5%, would take about 30,000 in volume. So something for you to calculate so that you can compare Power of 3 to the other bonuses. The great thing is you can actually earn all of them. You can earn your platinum bonus or your rank bonus. You can earn your Unilevel commission, and you can earn your Power of 3, and they can all add up. So here's the commissions here, and then we've got another 1% that goes to a diamond performance pool split between diamonds, blues, and presidentials. And then each diamond rank actually has their own 1%. So the diamonds get 1% that's split between them, and the blues get another 1% that's just split between blues, and then the presidentials get another 1% just split between the presidentials. So this is really awesome. Now, if you see down here, there's the +1s. These are really, really cool, and it's doTerra's way of incentivizing us to continue to enroll people. Also, you want to think strategically about when you're giving up enrollments. So if you are, let's say, silver, gold, or platinum, for example, then you get an extra share for every personally enrolled elite that hits elite for the first time that month. So let's say if you hit silver for the very first time and all 3 of your legs are hitting elite for the first time as well, you would get that $150 for your silver bonus, but you would also get another 3 shares for each elite. So you'd actually get 4 shares of that silver bonus. So that would be $600 versus $150. Let's say that you hit silver and 2 of your legs had already hit elite prior to that. So you would just get it for that last leg that hit elite. So you would get your 150 silver share, but then you'd get an additional 150 for that extra share for that new elite. Let's say that you're platinum, you get 1,500-ish type of bonus, but you have a new elite that hit that you have personal enrollment of, you'd get an extra $150 for that as well. So it's just 1 extra share, so you would get 11 instead of 10. Now, in the diamond performance, you get an extra share when you have personally enrolled premieres that hit for the first time. So, and then if you're a diamond, then you get an extra share of the diamond performance, and you get an extra share of the diamond pool. And then for the blue diamond, you'll get that as well. Let me actually go to this next slide and show you how that breaks down. So on here, you'll see the diamond performance. Generally, and again, this is generally speaking, you guys, because I want to make sure that I stress that I don't want anybody to ever come back and say, you said it was $1,200 and I got paid and it was $950 or whatever. It really depends on the month, depending on the volume. A lot of times when we have 200 PV promos or when we've got BOGOs or different times of the year, we might have a lot larger volume, but we might have a lot more rank advancements as well. So more people in the pool making a splash, right? So, let's say for diamond, for example, diamond gets, for an extra share of a personally enrolled premier, they get 1 of the performance, and then they get 3 extra shares of the diamond pool. So that would be about a 42, I'm sorry, just for regular diamond bonus is about a $4,200 bonus because they get 1 of the diamond performance and 3 of the diamond pool. Now for an extra share, then they're going to get 1 of the diamond performance and 1 of the diamond pool. So an extra share for premier would be about $2,200. Now for the blue diamonds, they're actually going to get 2 shares of the diamond performance pool just as a blue diamond bonus, and they're going to get 3 shares of the blue diamond pool. So that would be, usually the blue diamond bonus is around $12,600, right, if we were going on averages. Now the extra share for premier would be 1 from the performance and 1 from the blue pool, so that would be about $4,600, give or take a little bit. Same thing with presidentials. They get 3 of the diamond performance and then 3 of the presidential pool. So the presidential bonuses average anywhere from $25,000 to $35,000. This pool varies a lot more because there's less people in the pool. So again, when somebody jumps in, it makes a bigger splash because it's a smaller pool, right? And if people are getting extra shares, then that's going to all contribute to how many pieces that pie is going to go out into. So the extra share here for Premier is only given on the Diamond Performance. So if you are presidential and you get a personally enrolled Premier that hits for the first time, then you get the extra share of the Diamond Performance, so about $1,200. If you have a personally enrolled Silver, then you're also given an extra share for that, and that's just of the presidential Diamond pool, not of both. So you'll get extra share of Performance pool for a Premier, extra share of the presidential pool for a personally enrolled Silver. So that's something to look at there. This is where, like I said, it creates an amazing environment because you kind of own stock in the company. So as you see, something that's pretty unique in doTerra is there's so much collaboration that goes on. Leaders are working together, teams are working together, because as we're increasing these bonus pools, we're getting a commission of that too. So even if somebody not even on my team is just doing amazing things over in Korea or somewhere that I'm not working, that volume is going into these bonus pools that I'm getting a part of. So it's really, really cool. And I love the collaboration that it creates in doTerra. So to give you an average idea of what that looks like, then this kind of breaks it down. And let's talk a little bit about why building this business is ultimately worth committing to. I believe that you should definitely do something that you find fulfilling, right? And I really can't tell you, very often does a day go by where I don't get an email or a text or a phone call where someone is like telling me, oh my gosh, guess what? You'll never guess what happened. And they share some experience that they've had with the oils, or they share their commission check. And it's really fulfilling. I love being able to make that difference in someone's life and being able to empower them with their health, being able to empower them with their wealth. I originally started building this business simply because I was just really fulfilled by that. My husband was successful. I wasn't needing a paycheck, but it was really enjoyable for me to go and make an impact that way. So it's not always about the money, but it's also not about the money. I have yet to find somebody that's like, I do not like money. I wish I had less. It doesn't really happen. But there's many things that I enjoy doing that don't provide me money. And so, you know, we definitely want to look about this. Like, there's a lot of things I enjoy doing, but it's not going to support my family. And it's obviously very necessary for us to keep in mind what's going to support our family when we're deciding what to do. But just to give you an overall breakdown of what every rank average looks like, here's the chart on doTerra's official earning disclosure. I think this is 2 years old, so I don't know if it's last year. And then just to give you a reference, remembering, you know, the first year I achieved silver in 6 months, gold in 9 months. I achieved platinum in 22 months. Diamond took me 2.5 years. And then I hit blue diamond 9 months after that. And then 11 months after that, hit presidential diamond. But it did take me a couple years then to solidify after that. And I was never solid on a rank before I started pushing to the next rank. That's really what would solidify me. But a lot of people will look at this breakdown and think, oh my gosh, okay, I need to make this amount. So they set this goal for silver, and then they're disappointed that their average income, like their commission check, does not match the average income. So I want you to realize that, you know, when I was silver, my volume was about 9,000 or 10,000. Sorry, it was about 10,000 on overall volume. And there's silvers in the company that have diamonds underneath them and larger organizations. And so they're going to have a lot larger Unilevel. That's really going to make the big difference here. All silvers are paid the same rank bonus. It's just the Unilevel that really makes the playing fields very different, right? So when you're planning your income, let's say, especially if you're building effectively and you're keeping really tight volume, then you're gonna definitely wanna skip up a rank then in order to make the amount listed. So for example, let's say you're thinking to yourself, okay, I really wanna quit my job. I'm going to need to make at least $25,000 a month that I'm bringing in order for me to quit my job and be able to support my family. Maybe that's not fancy, maybe it's just I need to make $25,000 before I can quit. So your goal would not be silver to achieve that. Your goal would be at least gold. And if you're building really fast, then you would have to look at platinum in order for that Unilevel to catch up. So that's something that I want you to keep in mind so that you don't get discouraged when your silver commission or gold commission or whatever else. I just broke down the rank bonuses for you. Your silver bonus is going to be the empowerment bonus of around 200 and the silver bonus of around 150. So you're looking at about a $350 bonus for hitting silver. So that's not quite what that's not quite going to give you $26,000 a year. It's the Unilevel and the power of 3 also that would come into play here. So something to consider there. Now, the other thing that I want you to consider is, are you treating this like a hobby or like a business? Because I know a lot of people that kind of treat this like a hobby and then they get frustrated that they're not making the money that they wanted to make. So one great differentiation for you is a hobby is usually something that you do for fun, and you kind of do it as you enjoy it, and it's something that generally costs you money. A business is something that you show up regardless of whether you feel like doing it that day, but because you committed to it, you show up, and you show up over and over again. And you get to choose which sacrifices you make, but there's definitely going to be sacrifices in building a business. And that's what makes you the income. If you want it to pay you like a business, you have to treat it like a business. And in doing so, it's going to give you all of these residual benefits. And what I love about this business is that it empowers me to empower other people. It allows me to work from home or from the beach or from the mountains, wherever I'm at. As long as I have internet, I can work just really, really effectively, or even a phone, I can be on calls. It's created a passive income where I earn money when I'm sleeping, I earn money when I'm at the movies. It's very amazing passive residual income. It allows me to travel, to visit with my teams and grow in areas that I would have never otherwise gone to. Gives me the freedom of being my own business owner and the accompanying tax benefits for that. It's a system that duplicates, where I just think it's way, way better to get paid a little bit of money on what a lot of people are doing than to get paid a lot of money on just what I'm doing on my own. Because we have some amazing leaders in our organization. They're out there leading their whole entire movements on their own. And it creates that time freedom that allows us to, like I said, live our lives around the things that mean the most to us and kind of pick and choose what it is that we want to do with our life. For example, I might say, okay, well, I've got a certain amount of hours that I want to work each week, and then I've got a certain amount of hours that I want to spend time with my family. Maybe cleaning the toilets isn't something that really fits into my priority list. I'm not above cleaning toilets, but it's not something that necessarily makes a difference. Nobody is offended if it's not me. My kids aren't saying like, oh, Mom, you didn't clean the toilets. They do feel a little bit of a difference if I'm not the one tucking them in bed, or I'm not the one picking them up from school, or I'm not spending time with them. So it allows me to hire out so much of the things that are on my plate, like the housework and even the cooking and a lot of the things in my business with our assistants. We can hire so much of that out so it can buy back so much of our time. So that's something that I want you to consider, really the possibilities through this beautiful compensation plan. And if you guys have any questions now, we will open it for questions. I will check in the chat room as well as on the Facebook Live. Let me just pull that up here. And just list if you have any questions. Trying to pull this one up. Oh, somehow I got bumped out of Facebook. And I just get super excited, you guys, about this. Hopefully you guys are excited too. I know there's a lot of people that just love the oils and they just love sharing and they just love making a difference, but you can make so much of a bigger impact and so much of a bigger difference when you have the financial resources to do so, when you have the financial resources to invest and to give and to help people. So let's see here what questions we have. You guys don't have any questions? I have lots of comments. But if there's anything here that you have questions on, All right. So thank you for explaining the Premier Share option. It's always confusing. Can you do a call on strategies for realigning people to maximize bonuses? Yes, I will do one on how to maximize a compensation plan with proper structure. The bonus pools, what might make a difference for bonus pools do make a difference depending on which rank you're at. At the lower ranks, still, I really feel like power of 3 is what's going to make the biggest bang for your effort. Is going to be the power of 3. And the best part of that is it builds a structure for rank. However, let's say you have somebody on your front line that decides not to build, but there's a structure underneath them, and you get enrollment back of somebody on your second level. It may be worthwhile just to forget about that power of 3 until you build your fourth leg and as a diamond, and qualify with your rank with that person underneath your front line. So your rank is created by your enrollments, not necessarily by your sponsorship structure. So I do understand in many scenarios, somebody may have said they wanted to build and then they don't actually want to build. And so they're messing up your power of 3, but you can still surpass them and build to your rank with an enrollment maybe underneath them. And I would definitely look at doing that versus trying to build out a structure underneath somebody that's not going to support it or build as well, because that's too much work to put on yourself, and it's just not very efficient to build a business for somebody that's not building a business with you. Okay, so power of 3, all about structure, reinforcement, elite bonus option for growing silver, elite bonus options for growing silvers. Yes, definitely. Those extra shares are phenomenal. Deep sigh of relief. All right, you guys, well, I think that's really all we have then for today. If you have any questions and you're watching the replay here, just comment below in the comments, and I'll go back and try to answer any of those questions. But thank you guys so much for joining me, for taking the time to invest into your business and learn how you can make the biggest impact. So we will talk to you next time.